I'm going to build a team of the highest rated players in FC24 with the ultimate goal of winning the Champions League. And for once, I'm not going to be the manager, but I know the perfect candidate for this job in particular. I'm putting Pep Guardiola in charge of this team because we all know how much he loves spending a little bit of money. We are going to be using PSG in today's video, and there is a couple of reasons for this. Either with Mbappe, Neymar and Messi in the same team, they have still never won the Champions League. And on top of that, Man City are the reigning champions of Europe, and I want to see if the best team FC24 has to offer can topple Manchester City and become the best team in the world. And we are going to start with the goalkeeping position, and remember, we're buying the highest rated players from each position, and let me tell you, some of these may surprise you. Now, I initially thought either Alisson or Ederson would have been the highest rated keepers in FC24, but believe me, I was very mistaken. It's actually Thibaut Courtois who's 90 rated overall, and let's be honest, this guy in real life is an absolute monster in goal. And it is a done deal. We have signed Thibaut Courtois for 81 million euros, and he's our first player in the best starting 11 in FC24. Sorry, Donnarumma, but Thibaut Courtois is now our #1 keeper. And I bet some of you are thinking, how am I going to afford all this? Well, we've got 1 billion in our budget because of the financial takeover, so we've got no issues when it comes to budgets. So even if the rest of the team cost 100 million apiece, I think we'll still be alright. Well, the next position up is defence, and we are going to start with the right back. And I think you guys guessed who it is. Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's 24 years old and 86 rated already. But to be fair, there's a couple of players who are really high rated that really might surprise you. He's Achraf Hakimi, who's 24 years old and 84 rated, who already does play for PSG. And the second highest rated right back behind Trent Alexander-Arnold is Kieran Trippier, who's 32 years old and 85 rated, but in fairness, last year he was absolutely untouchable. But Trent Alexander-Arnold is the highest rated right back on FC24, so we have just bought him for 91 million euros. And next up is the left back position, but this is where we run into a little bit of an issue. Both Andrew Robertson and João Cancelo are the highest rated left backs in FC24, and I think there's only one way we're going to find out who to bring into this team. That's right, boys, the wheel is going to decide who is going to go into the highest rated team in FC24, and it's going to be Andrew Robertson. He is going to be signed for us right now. But Christ, he wasn't cheap, as we've just had to spend 83.1 million to bring him to this team. And finally, we're going to sign 2 centre-backs to complete that defence, and it should come as no surprise on who we're about to sign. Ruben Diaz and Virgil van Dijk, both 89 rated and by a mile the best centre-backs on the game. And for a combined total of 223 million, we have signed both of them to the team. And so far, we've spent just under £500 million on just the defence and goalkeeper, man. We've got 6 more positions to bloody buy for. I genuinely may have to look at selling some of these suspension players just to give us the funds to do this. But next up is the midfield, and we are going to start with the CDM. And once again, there's a couple of candidates at the same rating. And it is Rodri and Casemiro who are the 2 best CDMs in the game, both 89 rated, and it looks like we're going to have to go to the wheel once more to decide who to sign. Who's it going to be, Will? Rodri or Casemiro? Okay, we're signing Casemiro. Now, for me personally, I think Rodri in real life is by a mile the better player, but we've been giving Casemiro, so that's who we're going to sign. To be fair, Casemiro was 31 years old and his market value is way less than Rodri, so that's probably helped us out a little bit. Now we're going to start with the 80 million transfer fee. Let's see what they say to that. They want Marquinhos and 36.5 million. Do you know what? I'm just going to accept it because we're not going to use Marquinhos anyway. And there he is in the starting 11. Now, obviously, with these 2 centre midfielder positions in front of him, now I'm going to switch one of them to a cam. This way, we're going to pretty much get the best player for every single position in FC24. And next up is the centre midfielder role, and I think it should come as no surprise on who this actually is. It is, of course, Kevin De Bruyne, who's 91 rated at 32 years old. Everything this guy does in real life just turns to goal, so I think he's very deserving of being the highest rated centre midfielder in FC24. And even at 32 years old, we've just had to spend 114.5 million euros to bring him to this team. But looking at his stats, you gotta admit, he does look more like a central attacking midfielder, doesn't he? Well, speaking of the cam roll, it's now time to bring one in, and trust me, you ain't gonna believe who it is. It's not Martin Odegaard, who's 87 rated. It's not Jamal Musiala, who's 86 rated, who after the performance against Manchester United not too long ago, you could argue he is one of the best in the world. It's actually Bruno Fernandes, who's 88 rated. Now, me personally, I think somebody at EA's got a hard on for United because there's no way in hell he's the best central attacking midfielder in the world. But he is the highest rated on the game, so that means he's going queuing into the team. And boys, believe me, he is definitely not cheap on this game, as we've just spent 126.3 million to bring him to PSG. And that is officially our midfield, defense, and goalkeeper sorted, and we've spent 760.9 million so far. On top of this team being the best team in FC24, it's probably going to be one of the most expensive as well. And we haven't worked on our front three yet, and believe me, they're definitely going to be expensive. And out of the front three, we're going to start with the right winger, and let's be honest, boys, there's only one person that this belongs to. It is, of course, Mohamed Salah, who's 31 years old at 89 rated. And as a Chelsea fan, this video sucks for me. I've already bought Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah, man, and we let them go for practically nothing. Now, Liverpool actually want Achraf Hakimi and 56.7 million, and to be fair, when you consider we stole Trent Alexander-Arnold off, and this kind of makes sense. And honestly, I feel like I'm going to accept it, boys, because let's be honest, we don't need Hakimi when we got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, as for the left winger position, there are once again a couple of players the same rating, and you've already seen one of them. Now, the first player is Vinicius Jr., who's 22 years old and 89 rated, and I ain't gonna lie, boys, that rating for that age is genuinely ridiculous. And the second player is Neymar Jr. Now, I did get the Ultimate Edition of FC24, so I'm just assuming that EA haven't fully updated the squads just yet. But with the wheel deciding who we're actually going to sign, I figured I may as well just keep him in it until I know who I'm actually going to be able to use. So with that being said, wheel, who are we going to use? Neymar or Vinicius Jr.? Looks like we are going to get rid of Neymar and we are going to sign Vinny Jr. And as you can see, he's probably one of the most expensive players on this game, man. This is not going to be easy. I'm going to offer them Neymar as well as 80 million euros. That is just above Vinny Jr.'s market value, so they may actually go for it. They want 120.1. I mean, do you know what? We've got the money. Why not? And lastly, we have got the striker role, and it's between two people once again, and I think you guys can guess who that is. And of course, one of them is going to be Erling Haaland. He's 91 rated at 22 years old. He's easily going to be a future multiple-time Ballon d'Or winner. And of course, the second player is Kylian Mbappe, 91 rated at 24 years old. Just like Haaland, I think them pair are going to be battling it out to win them Ballon d'Ors, just like Ronaldo and Messi were all those years. And for the final time of this video, we are going to go to the wheel to decide whether we're going to keep Mbappe or we're going to sign Haaland. So, wheel, who are you going to give us, Haaland or Mbappe? Who's it going to be? I thought it was going to be Mbappe there for a second, but we are going to get the Norwegian giant Erling Haaland. I think the only way we're going to do this is if we actually do a swap deal, Kylian Mbappe for Erling Haaland. What the? Oh my god! They've actually told us that they feel like we're insulting them because we've offered them Kylian Mbappe for Erling Haaland. That is mental. I genuinely cannot believe that's just happened. How are you going to say no to Kylian Mbappe? Right, we're going to try this again. We're going to give them Kylian Mbappe, and we're going to give... Do you know what? We're just going to give them 100 million just to sort this deal out. They still want more... Oh my god, you greedy little shit. Pep Guardiola must be bloody furious with his former club, man, making him spend all this money to get Erling Haaland. But that is our 11th and final transfer for this team, as we brought Erling Haaland for Kylian Mbappe in 102.5 million. And this is officially the best starting 11 you can get in FC24, but believe me, this was not cheap. This team has cost 1.041 billion euros, so not only is it the best team in FC24, it's most likely one of the most expensive as well. So as you can imagine, I'm definitely expecting this team to win absolutely everything. I think if we don't, there is something seriously wrong with FC24. But whilst we're simulating the season, if you're enjoying this video so far, leave it a big old thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. So as you can see, we've just arrived in June, so it's time to see how the best team in FC24 has actually done this year. Well, it should come as no surprise that they've won the French League, 26 wins from 34 games, man. They've absolutely stormed it. They've also won the Trophy Champ against Toulouse 3-2 in the final. I'm not going to lie, I would have expected a higher scoreline than that. But they didn't win the Coupe Nationale. Bloody Marseille won that. Where the hell did we come? Oh my god, where? Oh my god. Stade Brestois, or however you pronounce that name, beat us 3-2 in the round of 16, man. So, it might be the best team in FC24, but we can't get past the round of 16 in the French League. But you know what? We all want to see the big one, the Champions League. So, let's go to that competition. So, we were in Group H alongside Benfica, Bergamo Calcio, and IF Augsburg, and we only just topped it, man. We didn't lose a single game, but we drew 3 and won 3, man. I'm not going to lie. The best team in FC24 doesn't look like the best team in FC24 so far. But in the round of 16, we demolished Sporting 14. Now, that is more like it. Oh my god, we beat Napoli 7-6 on penalties after drawing 3-3 on aggregate. My God, the penalties on this game are actually crazy. And in the semis, we absolutely demolished the Bottle Jobs 5-2. Now that is the stuff that I love to see. And we are playing against Real Madrid in the Champions League final. Now, due to some issues, there's going to be a slight change of plan. As you probably saw in my previous video, the gameplay right now on FC24 is genuinely unplayable. It either lags like mad when I'm playing it, or it crashes my OBS and Streamlabs. I'm hoping in the very near future EA make a patch for it and sort it out, but until then, I'm going to do something else. But before we get to the final, just check out this team. Now, one thing I've noticed is nobody's actually improved, and now this, I'm going to guess, is because I'm not messing with the coaches at all, so that actually does prove one thing. Coaches are very important in FC24. But let's be honest, boys, if this team doesn't beat Real Madrid right now, I really don't know what to say to you. Well, the stats are shocking because Vinny Jr. is our top goal scorer with 28 goals and 15 assists in 49 games. He's actually both our top goal scorer and assisting. Erling Haaland, mate, you need to step your game up, lad. But it is indeed time for the final, and looking at that Real Madrid team, I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a pretty good team, but we've got the best team in FC24, for God's sake. We should absolutely wipe the floor with them. But it is now the moment of truth. Can the best team in FC24 actually win the Champions League? Or oh my God, they've absolutely annihilated Real Madrid 3-0 in the final. Bruno Fernandes, Mohamed Salah, and Vinicius Jr. with the goals. I don't know why I'm surprised though. Look at the team that we have actually put together, man. If they didn't win it, there's something wrong with this game. But that is the end of the video. But if you want more FC24 content, you should click right here to watch my first ever video on this game.